Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, it's our pleasure to present to you the newest name in Delaware sports and sports around the world, who has had absolutely no success in the real world, so he's dedicated his life to talking sports. He's known to be prickly and very opinionated. It's time to get in the huddle with your host, Coach.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the huddle. I know everybody is getting, getting away from the television of the big, huge matchup, Miami-Jacksonville, to join us. So I appreciate that. You know, it's tight 7-3 here in the first quarter. So appreciate everybody jumping in and checking us out. Good morning, Stizz. Again, another cornhole championship. I thought I just mentioned that. I saw the pictures posted up. So we have that. We have a bunch of stuff to go over. Big week here in the NFL as we get into it. And of course I'm off the snide, trying to make it 2 in a row. So we'll see how that plays out. So we're going. We got a lot going on today. Nevada Nick is here, obviously. Listen, we got big things because obviously you're the brain. A lot of people are saying you're the brains of the operation. I just wanted to let everybody know that Nevada Nick is the brains of the operation.
I think that's obvious. I'm the brains of the operation. If you were the brains of the operation, we would be in a lot of trouble. That's for sure.
And you guys brought me a look for personality.
Yeah, no, this.
Yeah.
Now, all right, you guys. Coach, you want to start? With the Eagles game on Thursday? You go with that and go through that?
Yeah, let's go. Because I want to get into your boy Zach gets traded. I wanted to big news coming from Philadelphia after that game. I mean, it looked like Tampa was going to roll right through, and obviously I didn't stay up late enough to watch this comeback of sorts, but but the box score looked close.
Well, we'll just say. Well, yeah, the box score might have been close. The game wasn't. And if Stizz has a hit list, Nick Sirianni's on the top of it right now. I'll just say that. Stizz had the Bucs minus 6.5, and it was 28-7, and he got it down to, I guess would be 28-20. Instead of just kicking the extra point, he went for 2 and got it and made it 6. So Nick Sirianni isn't really high on anybody's list right now, unless you're putting – the list of shittiest coaches in the league.
Quote unquote dope.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's just I'll tell you. And what's crazy is you run the ball one time in the first half, which is amazing. But then in the fourth quarter, you say, okay, let's give the run a shot. And Miles Sanders goes off in the fourth quarter. And you actually come back. Now, could it have been a little bit of the Bucs putting the foot off the gas? Yeah. But the Eagles look good. And Brian Baldinger, who used to, analyst and used to play offensive line for the Eagles, was showing the breakdown. They were doing great blocking for the run. And they actually, have done well blocking for the run. It just makes no sense. I mean, Coach, you're a football coach. You coach. You understand. I mean, we all know as football guys, you're essentially telling everybody, okay, we're one-dimensional.
Yeah.
We're going to pass. So, I mean, teams just know how you're going to play. Like, it's unbelievable. I mean, this is like Little League football.
But part of the problem with that also is it does make you look at Miles Sanders with rose-colored glasses because teams don't have the box loaded. The numbers favor the run, because they know you're going to pass the football.
Yeah, but,
so when Miles runs,
you've never really given him an opportunity. He's had some big
but
games.
You also have not given you're not sticking. Teams are not adjusting to it because they know you can't stick with it. That's the issue.
High school Harry Sirianni. Actually, rhymes.
They're not sticking to it long enough for the defense to adjust to it.
Sticking to it long enough. They ran the ball one time in the first half. It's not doing it at all.
0 yards.
Yeah.
I know.
They're not sticking to it. I mean, as a coach, they were
right, but that's the thing. Why even bother? Why even bother? It's like getting guys in the box.
It's like Major League in the point where Harry Doyle was looking through the line. He's like, one goddamn hit. Like that's I look at the box going, one run. I mean, now I ask you guys this: is there a chance that I don't think it would be the first time because I don't think Petrino made it a whole year. But Petrino resigned on his own. Is there a chance Sirianni?
No, to Nick Saban. Nick Saban
went. That was his year too. Okay. Is there any chance Nick Sirianni doesn't even make it the whole year? Stizz, I'll start with you.
Yeah, there's a chance if he keeps on running this team to the ground like he is right now. Yeah. I mean, they're gonna yank his ass out of there.
Yeah, Coach.
Absolutely, there's always a chance. I mean, do I think the Eagles do it? No. I don't, because I think, Laurie will stay until the end, let him ride the season out.
Right.
But, I mean, he's definitely one and done, I think. And look, if I was Zach Ertz, as soon as he found out he was traded, he probably popped the champagne. I mean, especially you're going from the outhouse to the penthouse. I mean, come on, you're going from a team that can't get out of its own way to an undefeated team.
Well, what's frustrating, I don't think the Eagles –
moving on up like the Jeffersons, baby.
I don't think the Eagles are terrible. I just think the coach is terrible. Now, I tend to agree with what Coach said. I don't think Laurie's going to – because not that it's a panic move, but I don't think Laurie will do it during a year. That's not that's just not Laurie-like.
If they keep on losing, though.
Exactly what I was going to say. If he keeps – coaching the way he is, and he has 2 or 3 more games of these one runs and these horrible press conferences afterwards where people are just like, huh? Like they asked me yesterday, does this, you putting all this on Jalen Hurts, is that okay? Like, oh yeah, I trust Jalen. Like, I mean, he's just looks like an idiot. And that goes to my next question. And look, I know it's early, and I also know coaching is part of his problem. But if you were the Eagles, would you be concerned with Jalen Hurts, Coach?
Yeah, I think Nick Sirianni needs to go back and play rock, paper, scissors. He's good at that. We know he's good at playing rock, paper, scissors.
Right.
But running the football, no, he's not.
Stizz, would you be concerned?
100%. I mean, they're putting way too much pressure on this kid. Thursday night, he was the leading rusher on the team.
Right.
And this is more than one time this year. He had 10 rushes compared to Miles Sanders' 9 rushes.
Yeah, but a bunch of those rushes were not designed running plays. They were just him getting out of the and being able to turn a broken play into some positive yards. So
right, and he got 2 touchdowns out of it. But I mean, look, man, you give Miles Sanders nine touches, okay, Thursday. You give Kenneth Gainwell 0 touches. I mean, Gainwell was out touching Miles Sanders pretty much all years, and now he's obsolete. I mean, I just don't understand these moves. And we all know, man, running quarterbacks don't fare well in the NFL, especially when you're kind of forced to. So I don't know. This keeps on going on like this. He's going to have a short lifespan, in my opinion.
Yeah. And Joe, the Cowboys look really good. The only thing I think get in the Cowboys' way is Mike McCarthy. That's what would worry me, but they look like they got everything they need. In regards to Hurts, I would be really concerned. They're asking way too much of him. They're not putting him in places to succeed. And look, I do have questions about – I like Jalen Hurts. I think he's a leader. I like how the team plays around them. I think they play for him. I think that, they like him. But, man, there's some throws he really needs to make that he doesn't. It's so early, but I don't think he's got a long leash. We said this. The Eagles are built that if they don't, like the quarterback at the end of the year, they're built now to make that move and either go get Watson or draft a quarterback. And I just don't know. Yeah, I don't know if after this year Hurts is going to look like the guy, and because Sirianni sure as hell isn't helping it. And so
I would take Hurts over Daniel Jones in a heartbeat.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I wouldn't take either of them right now the way they look. I mean, and I like Hurts. He can do more than Daniel Jones. I agree, but he had a 12-yard curl, just an easy. I mean, it's like a layup in basketball for a quarterback, and he missed it. Like he's not seeing the field well. There's just some of the decision making and the turnovers. I'm just not in love with. And look, he's only played 10 games. Let me see what he does the rest of the year. But is it also fair because that's under Sirianni? So how can you get? Let's talk about Cowboys.
We already talked about him, Joe. We already talked about him. What else, man?
We're talking about the Eagles because we're in Philly, Joe. We're not all freaking Cowboys fans like you, like Ben Simmons. All right, now we'll get on to Coach's Giants. Now we're going Joe. We're working up the NFC East to bottom. We're going to start at the bottom here and work ourselves up.
Bottom up.
Coach, all kinds of injuries on the Giants. Just numerous injuries. Now,
Daniel Jones is going to play today.
Andrew Thomas?
Still doubtful, but I think he is going to play. So
doubtful means not going to play, but okay.
Oh, well, I always get that confused. Doubtful, because doubtful and what's
doubtful?
The other one?
Why would you get that confused?
Questionable. I don't know. Questionable.
What about Kenny Galladay?
Out. Kenny Galladay's out. Saquon Barkley out.
Right.
I think Shepard's playing, but I think Slade is still out. And Peppers is in. So we'll see. They played them tough last year. If you remember last year in LA, the Giants made one mistake. They lost that game. What was it? 16-10 or something. So we'll see. I don't really have any faith. I mean, the defense is playing terrible. And the problem, I keep saying it's the pass rush, but you know what? You got to get into manageable third down situations, man. You can't give them third and short all the time.
Right.
You got to come up with some plays on first and second down as well.
Now, Coach, obviously now I think you look at the Saquon situation. They picked up his 5th-year option, which now I think is a huge mistake. Obviously.
Absolutely.
But is there a chance you think they maybe try to trade him in the offseason and just move on? Because, you can't really count on him.
I would, and we'll see when we have a new general manager. I would, because he's just not – you're not going to pay him. It doesn't matter what he does from here on out. I mean, he hasn't shown enough consistency to pay the guy. So let him go out, trade him, see what you can get, something in return for him. I mean, you're not going to get much. Maybe a 4th-round pick. I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, Stizz, would you move on from Saquon?
Yeah, I mean the guy's injury prone as we see, and you can't count on him. The problem is, what are you going to get for him next year?
Right.
That's why I'll be generous by saying a 4th-round pick. I mean, honestly, I don't know that you'd get that much. I mean, somebody might.
That's what's crazy. Once again, your boy Dave Gettleman picks up a 5th-year option, and they may just have to straight release him. I mean, that's what it might come to, and which is just like, are you kidding me? You picked up his option to then release him because.
Well, again, Dave Gettleman, if you remember, he signed Odell Beckham to this big long-term deal and then traded him. But if you knew you were going to trade him, why did you sign him to this contract?
Right. And so Joe knows too. Joe, we talked about the Cowboys last week, and we all talked about if they're Super Bowl contenders. Those two said no. I said yes. So I don't know if they've changed their mind since last week.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
I mean, I like them, but I don't see them get to the Super Bowl.
No, I mean, look,
the NFC West is just too tough. It's too tough for too many hurdles for them to go through.
Yeah. Well, the only advantage to that can be is they're in the NFC East. So that means they're going to have a better record. just like the Packers, and that they can maybe get home field advantage. So that is a positive. Now, guys, any chance Giants pull off the upset of the Rams? I'm going to say no, Coach.
Of course, there's always a chance. Okay, let me put my fan hat on, because and say that yes, if you go look, they played them tough last year in LA. It's a new season. They obviously they can pull it out. There's always a chance.
Stizz, any chance?
You got a better chance of Coach winning back-to-back locks of the week. Let me put it that way. So, no shot whatsoever.
Okay.
They just came across a big hurdle Monday night.
Yeah. So now Coach's Fugazi team, the Cardinals, who Coach has been calling Fugazi every week and finally retracted that statement after 4-0 and beat the Rams, are now 5-0. Are the Cardinals Super Bowl contenders, Stizz?
No, I don't think so. I jumped on Coach's bandwagon too early in the year and said they were Fugazi. I just didn't see it. Now with Seattle pretty much out of the picture, you have a better shot of at least getting a wild card if they start going downhill and start losing games, which I can actually see happening. You got Kyler Murray with a hurt shoulder now again, like he had last year. And I think it's the same throwing shoulder. He misses a few games, man. You're going to start seeing this team go the opposite way. I just don't think they keep this pace up. I really don't.
They added Zach Ertz. They added Zach Ertz, which we didn't.
Huge.
We were going to talk that. Yeah, if you would have looked at the thing, you're going to see we're going to talk about that. But what are they?
Well, I would think that would have tailed into when we were talking with the Eagles, since he came from the Eagles. We would have. It's called a segue. It's called a segue.
No, it's called you're a moron. Are the Cardinals? Yeah, are the Cardinals the Super Bowl contender?
No.
Okay.
No,
I think they are. I really do. I think when you talk about balance, but I bring up Stizz is right. Kyler's shoulder's huge because he hurt that shoulder last year, and then his production really went south. I don't love Kingsbury. I know they're winning. I don't love him, but what you got to look at is you got two studs on the defensive line. You got Budda Baker. You got Jordan Hicks in the middle with Hassan Reddick and Isaiah Simmons. They have a lot of players. They bring Rodney Hudson over from the Raiders to bring onto that line. They're running the ball better this year, which they didn't do last year. Stizz was all over Chase Edmonds last year. He's having a nice year. They're running the ball a little bit better. Look, I think there's a lot of teams. You say, but look, I could see the Cardinals, the Cowboys, the Rams, the Bucs. I think any four of those teams. I mean, it's pretty wide open. There's a lot of teams right now that I could see in that Super Bowl window. And it all seems pretty close. You know what I mean? It's all there. To me, there's not really a team you can say, hey, this team's here and looks better than the rest of the league. Like at the start of the year, where I think everybody thought it was Chiefs-Bucs, and here we are 5 weeks in, and I don't think anybody here would say Chiefs-Bucs, obviously.
Nick, don't forget, too, going back to the Kyler Murray of being, possibly hurting that shoulder. If you remember last year, Kyler Murray's upside is his rushing ability.
Right.
And getting rushing touchdowns, if need be. You remember last year when he hurt his shoulder, you didn't see him run so much. And for sure, he's not going into the middle, into the end zone. There's no way. So he kind of protected himself a little bit. I'm curious if the same thing happens this year, which, will bode to my point that they regress.
Now, Stizz, what's the fantasy impact for Coach brought it up of Ertz? Is Ertz a pickup for you? Do you think he's going to do well in Arizona?
Yeah, I do. Arizona and Buffalo were really two of them teams I think we talked about early in the year that really needed that kind of knockdown tight end position solidified. And now Arizona has it. I really like Zach Ertz coming here. He don't have to worry about, sharing the ball with anybody like he was with Dallas Goedert. Arizona's tight end Max Williams out for the year now. So yeah, he's going to take over that position as soon as he learns the playbook. I think it's a great addition for Kyler Murray.
Right. Now, on the other end of that game, the Browns, 3-2, tough loss last week. But I know you hate to say it this early in the year, but the Browns, people were talking about a Super Bowl this year. And in my opinion, I think this is a must-win game for them. You don't want to get to 500, 3-3,
Mm-hmm.
and look, Ravens are 4-1, Chargers are jumping out the gate, Bills are jumping out the gate. Coach, do you agree? Would you call this a must-win game for the Browns?
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree with that. This is a must-win for them because you can't in that division, just in your division. It's tough. Cincinnati kind of creeping up in there. You don't want to fall down to 500 and get lost in the sauce, so to speak. Because let's face it, the AFC is pretty heavy this year. A lot of good teams.
Right.
So it's going to be tough to get a wild card spot.
Yeah, right. Stizz, would you call it a must win for the Browns?
It's a needed win. I don't know that it's a must win this early.
Right.
Listen, they played in my opinion the game of the week last week against the Chargers. Yeah. I mean, they put up 42 points, I believe, and still lost. Yeah. On Cleveland's defense carrying Eckler into the end zone, that kind of put it, put it over the Chargers in the Chargers' way. So it's going to be a good game. We'll talk about definitely that later on. With my locks of the week.
Now, last week, obviously, Bills smoked the Chiefs. I mean, just looked really good. Right now in Vegas, Bills are what's considered the betting favorite to win the Super Bowl. Do you agree with that? Are the Bills the favorite to win the Super Bowl? Coach, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah. Okay, I agree with you. I do too. I right now, if I had to pick one team, I just like the balance. The defense looks much bigger. They picked up your boy Rousseau, who's made some plays for him, running the ball a little bit more. I like the direction they're headed in, playing a little bit different style. It's not as much of where so much is on Josh Allen. I do think right now they're the Super Bowl favorite. Stizz, what do you think?
The Bills are unstoppable. We talked about the Chiefs last week too, and man, I'm starting to doubt myself on them. I mean, they're just going backwards where the Bills are just trucking along forward. And we talked about it off air. They finally got a tight end in play with this Dawson Knox. I think this is his second year, maybe third year, and they finally got a tight end in play. And Josh Allen's just balling out. I mean, he's definitely going to go for the MVP vote this year. He got nudged last year, but he's going to be in play this year again, I think. Yeah.
Now, Coach, could the Chiefs actually miss the playoffs, Coach?
Yeah, they can. I mean, we just talked about how packed the AFC is this year. Right. There's a chance they could miss the playoffs. Yeah. I mean, you have San Diego. You have the Chargers playing really, really well. You have, obviously Buffalo, Baltimore, Cleveland. You have a host of teams that can really come out and play, and they could be on the outside looking in if they don't turn things around relatively quick.
Okay. Stizz, can the Chiefs miss the playoffs?
Yeah, they absolutely can. I think it's going to be to the detriment of their defense. Right. I kind of made the point last week that, they're like the Golden State Warriors of the NFL where, they just outscoring everybody. They'll give up, 30, 32 points a game, but they'll score 34 to 40. I don't know, man. That's going to be their nemesis, I think, this year. With CEH too, he's out for 3 to 4 weeks now, I believe, on IR. You got Tyreek Hill banged up with a bruised quad. You got Kelsey banged up with a stinger in his shoulder. They lose one of them pieces of let's say of Kelsey or Hill. Yeah, you're in trouble, man. You're in trouble. Yeah. That's their bread and butter.
I think they still will make the playoffs, but yeah, there's definitely a chance. And you guys know that Super Bowl losers curse. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of times. And look, they've been in the Super Bowl 2 years in a row now. It really should be 3 if the one guy could just line up on side the ball. So you've had 3 long seasons, and you see it sometimes. It's just weird. Look at the Niners last year. They had a rash of injuries, a lot of bad luck. So, maybe that's what's kind of happening, going the Chiefs' way. But Coach knows, too, if there's somebody that can get that defense playing, it's Spags. So he's going to coach them up. And, look, they don't need to be a top 10 defense. He just needs to get them to be a top 15 type defense just to make some stops for that offense. So I do think they will make the playoffs still. But, I think there's definitely a chance they don't make the playoffs. Now, obviously, we all know the story of the week was John Gruden, resigning. I mean, after all the emails. Coach, did Urban Meyer send an edible arrangement to John Gruden?
I think he did, honestly. I think he did. Because because he got up to that podium and just went, "Hey, did you guys hear about John Gruden?"
Now, a couple things. Are the Raiders playoff shots hopes done now, Coach? Do you think?
I don't know that they're done.
Okay.
But I hope they are because I have the Raiders and under.
Right.
So, which was 6. I didn't think they were going to win more than 6. They're halfway there already, so I'm in trouble.
Right. Stizz, do you think the Raiders' hopes are done?
I'm on the same bus. I mean, I got them at 6.5 wins for the season, so I'm rooting on a 7 to 8 game losing streak. Yeah, this is going to hurt them. This is going to hurt them. This controversy. I mean, it usually does. It's going to hurt the locker room. It's going to hurt the players, the assistant coaches, and everybody else.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think. Well, I mean, I don't think they're they're done, but they still have a shot. But I think I think it's going to hurt Carr. It's going to hurt the offense, and I think it's going to be a tough hill to climb. And look, Coach said it. There's a lot of good teams in the AFC. There really is. So it's going to be tough. If they do make it, I think it's going to be because this becomes a rallying point for them, and they kind of rally together and find a way to get in. Now, the one thing I think is really questionable. So after the whole Gruden thing, a lot of guys, including Derek Carr and all the people, said, "Okay, open up all the emails. All right, let's see them all. And there's 650,000. The NFL comes out and says that those were the only emails that contained inappropriate language.
Yeah, right.
Do you believe that, Coach?
Not for a second, man.
Yeah.
Not for a second.
Yeah. Stizz, do you believe that?
No, not at all. A lot of curiosity there, man.
Yeah, neither do I. And to me, I think you got to release it now. I think you do because that's just absurd. Like, it's so crazy because the whole point was an investigation of the Washington football team, but John Gruden's the one getting fired. Like, okay, well, where's the report? And I guess it's still to come about Washington, but it almost seems like, to be honest with you, John Gruden pissed in somebody's cereal. Maybe Goodell didn't like being called a pussy, because it seems very much like somebody had it out for John Gruden.
Yeah, the truth hurts, doesn't it?
Yeah,
the truth hurts there, Roger, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Roger doesn't have many fans, and I obviously Patriots fans hate him. And I guess now you can add Raiders fans. I don't know they liked them before anyway, but I'm sure you can add them to the list. All right, guys, on to the Seahawks. Russell Wilson out 4 to 8 weeks. Once again, another year. Hey, guys, if we could get all the guys right now that are on IR and put them on a team, you'd have a Pro Bowl team, essentially. You got CMC, Stizz, who I want to get into that, Stizz, when we get into your fantasy advice with what you did this week in a brilliant move in fantasy. But you got now Russell Wilson out 4 to 8 weeks. Do you think the Seahawks playoff shots done for this year, Coach?
I don't know that they're done, but who would have thought that Cam Newton's out of the league and Geno Smith is starting football games, man?
And do you guys know who the backup is for Seattle besides Geno Smith, who was thought about starting this week?
No.
Who's that?
Blake
No.
Bortles. Blake Bortles.
Wow.
Is still in the league and
Wow.
still has a shot to start this Sunday night. Which
That's
is,
great.
like Coach said, I mean, it's just mind-blowing that Cam doesn't have a job, and these guys are talking about being starters for the next 6 weeks.
Now, Stizz, you think the Seahawks are done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're in trouble, man. You're losing 6 weeks of Russell Wilson. Don't forget Chris Carson's on IR too for at least 3 weeks with that neck injury. And who knows? I mean, with the neck injuries are tough to come back from. So I feel like he's going to be out more than 3 weeks.
Oh, you saw that with Chancellor, who played for Seattle. He had the neck and then ended up never playing football again. I agree, especially in that division. I just think you know, if it was a week or two, it'd be one thing. But 4 to 8 weeks, you're going to fall so far behind in that division. I just think I think it's I think they are done. If
they were in the NFC East, I'd give them a shot. You know what I mean? But, like you said, the division they're in, no. NFC West, no.
Look, do you think there's a chance Russell Wilson leaves after this year, Coach?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Stizz.
Well, he wanted to leave last year. He was trying to get something done. So, I think so for sure. I mean, they still haven't bulked up that offensive line for him, which, he's been, really bitching and complaining about for the last couple of years.
Right.
So, I see him moving on.
Yeah. No, and look, his injury was a freak type of thing. He's always pressured, but I think the thumb or whatever, the finger hit the helmet throwing the ball. But I think it's become stale. I wonder if he's going to request a trade, or I don't know what the relationship's like with Pete Carroll, but I think they need something fresh in there. And it's one of those two. I think either, they need to trade Russell if they want to keep Pete and kind of just maybe start anew.
I think they need to do both.
Okay.
I think they need a fresh start. I think you need to, Pete's a great coach. I love Pete to death, but I think at some point your message gets old because you've been there so long, and I think that's part of it. And I think Russ is a little frustrated. I think he needs a fresh start. I think Pete needs to, move on. And
now we talked about bold predictions, and. We've all seen now what are we after week 5, so we're in week 6 here, and I want to ask everybody to give a bold prediction, and I'll start with mine, and then I'll go to Stizz, and then we'll see if Coach is going to come up with one yet.
Mine hasn't changed. It's not changed. So
okay,
I'm fine.
All right, bold. My bold prediction is that the Colts are still going to make the playoffs at 1-4. Look, I think they get a win today against the Texans. You look at the Titans; they play the Bills this week and the Chiefs next week, so that could be 2 possible losses. And then they play the Colts. So if the Colts can and then after the Colts, they play the Rams. So the Titans have at the Rams. The Titans have a tough schedule coming up here. So if the Titans somehow lose the next 2 games, Colts can get on 2 wins, and then they beat them in the head-to-head match. The Colts are right back in it. So, people think 1-4. I think the Colts are still right in the middle of the thick of things. I think Wentz is starting to play better. I think they just need to clean some of the mistakes up. Obviously last week, should not have lost to the Ravens. And that was not Wentz's fault. I'd have put that on Frank Reich. I thought, the Ravens defense was gassed and done. And he said, okay, we're going to run the ball and run the clock and take timeouts and just kick a field goal. And then because they were up 8, and then the field goal got blocked. And the Ravens went down, scored a touchdown, got the 2, and all of a sudden you had a tie game. And then Wentz took them down and got them to the point where they could get a 46-yard field goal and missed the field goal again. Yeah. So, and that's why in the NFL, man, you can never you guys both know, can never take your foot off the gas in the NFL. It's just, unless it's like 4 touchdowns or something insane, you can't. Because you see it so many times where they take the foot off and then the momentum switches, and then that momentum is like a snowball going down the hill. And I mean, Coach, you remember that Eagles-Giants comeback where the Eagles, when they were down 21 in like 6 or 7 minutes, you make one play, and then all of a sudden, boom, the momentum changes, and it's an entirely different ball game. Stizz, your bold prediction.
Well, I'm staying on that Matt Stafford train, and I'm going with the Rams to, not only win the division, which I said in the beginning of the season, but make it to the Super Bowl as well.
Okay.
I don't know if they're going to win the Super Bowl, but they're firing on all cylinders, man.
Right.
Their defense is playing great. Their running game is good. Their offense is just unbelievable. So I'm going with them making it to the Super Bowl.
Okay. Coach, your bold prediction?
I'm sticking with it. Buffalo, baby.
Okay.
Buffalo wins it. Wins it all. Wins
so
it
your
all.
bold prediction is the Super Bowl favorite's going to win it all.
But I had that at the beginning of the year.
It's a bold prediction. No, it is. It is. It's a bold prediction. The Bills have never won a Super Bowl, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's a bold prediction. Coach, settle down. Woosah. I'm breaking your balls, Coach.
Goose Fraba.
Coach, I'm the smart one. Come on.
You're the smart one, man. I mean,
come on, Coach.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to go to Stizz's fantasy advice now. And look, let me give a shout out to the guy. Because Stizz made a trade in fantasy this week. And he told me Friday night. Do you want to tell the story, Stizz? Or do you want me to bring it?
It doesn't matter. You could give me an alley-oop. You could lead
All
up
right.
to it.
Okay. So Stizz says he traded McCaffrey. And he said, I just got a feeling that, the injury was re-aggravated or something, or, it's something worse than they're saying. And then I get home about 12:30. Christian McCaffrey's out for this week. And I'm like, damn.
He's on IR the next 3 games.
Coach, let me finish the story, you dope.
That's a good one, Coach.
Yeah. Then Saturday morning, I get a text from Stizz. Christian McCaffrey put on IR for 3 weeks. Again. So, Stizz, talk about the trade.
So, Monday night, this past Monday night, I get a text from my boy in my league offering me a trade. Wanting McCaffrey, wanting a receiver.
Right.
We went back and forth about 6 different times trying to get a trade done, and we made it happen. So we did a 3-for-3 trade. And, I tell all my people at work, all my fantasy people this trade, and when I started off, their eyes just get wide because they say, you did what? I said, listen, I gave up McCaffrey. I gave up Justin Herbert, which is my man crush, right? And I gave up Calvin Ridley. They said, are you serious? Now, what did you get in return? I said, well, I got Josh Allen. I got the hookup with Stephon Diggs, and I got Darren Waller. I mean, on paper, it was a fair trade. Now, my insight was Calvin Ridley's been underperforming so far all this year. Mm-hmm. Atlanta's offense stinks.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley's on bye this week, so I can't use him this week anyway. Neither can the guy that traded for him. So, okay, that's one hurdle. Hopefully he stays underperforming the rest of the year. But the big thing was Calvin Ridley, he practiced all last week. He was set to play in week 5. Coaches kept him out for precautionary reasons 1 more week just to try to get him a little bit better for week 6.
Right.
Practiced once this week. Didn't hear much more. He was 50-50 going into week 6. My hope was, and crossing my fingers, because this is a roll of dice for both parties involved,
right,
was that McCaffrey comes back, he gets hurt again like he did last year, and he doesn't play a full season moving forward, okay? Well, my hopes and dreams came true when I get the note on Saturday morning saying McCaffrey's back on IR for at least 3 weeks.
Yeah.
The guy that traded, is blasting my phone up on group chat, wanting a veto. It's not right for the league. We should trade back. This and that.
He thinks this works for the Panthers.
Listen, he's calling me Putin. He thinks I have some inside information. He thinks all of a sudden I'm a Russian spy.
Yeah.
I said, listen. I said, listen, man, you came to me for this trade. I didn't come knocking at your door. You came to me.
Yeah.
I mean, bad luck. It really is. I feel bad. I really do.
But what it is, too, is not to, and it's not saying the other guy wasn't, but that's why you really got to stay up on the league. And because there was a thing, and they said, you saw it last year, too. They were very precautionary with McCaffrey. And now you got to wonder where the Panthers going to be at week 9. And if it's not in the playoff picture, are they then again going to say, let's shut him down? You know what I mean? You want to keep him healthy with, the situation with running back. So, yes, it is now, and look, if he does come back in week 9, let's say, but, they play a couple weeks and then they're eliminated. When it's your prime season and you're in the playoffs, they very well could shut him down again. You know what I mean? So it looks like it's going to work out for you.
Unfortunately, I think you're seeing a beginning to the end of McCaffrey. I mean, I hate to say that, and I hope it's not true, but this guy's been your bread and butter for the last few years. He's been healthy besides last year,
right?
And it just seems like it's trickling down where it's going to be an ongoing event, every year, and it's unfortunate because I mean he's a number 1 pick for the last few years. Yeah. And, people are going to kind of, shade away from that now.
But now, the last 2 years now, you look what happened. Obviously, I doubt he's going to be the number 1 pick next year. So, Stizz, your fantasy advice for the week.
So, we'll start with pickups. Okay. We're going to go Khalil Herbert. He's the rookie running back I talked about last week for Chicago. Damian Williams came in there. D. Williams from Kansas City that, me and Nevada Nick were kind of getting confused with, Damian Williams and Darrell Williams.
Right.
But Damian Williams came in and he was supposed to be your starter and get the bulk of the carries this week for Chicago. Unfortunately, he came down with COVID. So Khalil Herbert, the rookie, is going to be your starter and pretty much going to be getting all the carries. Herbert last week had 18 rushes for 75 yards. The thing is with Chicago, Justin Fields hasn't thrown more than 20 attempts in a game this year. So, they look like they're going to be a run-first offense. So you're going to want to try to snag him off of waivers, try to get him for the immediate future. Darrell Williams, which I just mentioned, high-powered offense in Kansas City. CEH looks like he's going to be out for 4 weeks. Williams has been part of this Kansas City system for the last 4 years, so he knows his way around. And they're going to need him. Like I said, with Kelsey being a little bit banged up, with Tyreek Hill being a little bit banged up, they're going to have to run the ball. And you see they have been the last couple of weeks. They haven't been a straight throwing offense the last few weeks. So Darrell Williams is another pickup I like. Another sneaky guy for Baltimore, Rashad Bateman. He's been on IR all year. He was the rookie they picked up. I stashed him in 2 leagues, put him on IR. He just went off of IR this week. So he's set to play this today for Baltimore. Temper your expectations in his first game back. I think he might add a little spark to this Baltimore offense. So, pick him up, set him aside, set him on your bench, see what he does today, and, you're going to go from there. We have 4 teams on bye this week: Atlanta, New Orleans, the Jets, and San Fran. This is where it starts, man, and this is where you're going to have to really get creative with your waiver wire, your free agent pickups, and you're going to have to look ahead for sure because the next couple of weeks are going to be pretty tough with picking guys up. You're going to have a lot of guys on bye. Start-wise, I'm going to go start of the week. We talked about this guy since CMC's, out for the immediate future, at least 3 weeks on IR. Chuba Hubbard, the rookie. He got involved last week. 24 rushes, 101 rushing yards, 5 catches for 33 last week versus Philly in the loss. They're playing against Minnesota this week, who ranks 12th against running backs, giving up 26.6 a game. Good spot for Hubbard this week. Another start of the week, pretty obvious to start this guy, and you're not going to shy away from him, but Stephon Diggs, is your automatic start. But look, man, 28 catches, 374 yards. He only has 1 touchdown this year. He really hasn't gotten going. And guess what? This might be the week. Monday night at Tennessee, primetime. Tennessee dead last against receivers. Giving up 47.3 points per game to receivers. Good spot. What's up, Sam? Thanks for the love, bud. Sits of the week. I got one here, and this is a big profile name too, which really hasn't been producing this year. Allen Robinson for the Chicago Bears. They're barely throwing the ball. I just mentioned it. Justin Fields hasn't thrown the ball more than 20 times this year as of yet. So I don't see that trend. I don't see that trend moving forward anytime soon. Allen Robinson, 17 catches for 181 yards and 1 touchdown in 5 games. He's got a good matchup versus Green Bay, who's giving up 34 points per game. And we talked about it last week. They're missing a couple cornerbacks. They're missing some defensive linemen. So it's a good matchup, but it's a wait-and-see approach. I'm going to sit Allen Robinson on my bench, unfortunately, and, see what happens from there.
Okay. Now, Michael Thomas, they say might come back next week for the Saints. Do you think he's going to have an impact with Winston, or do you think it's going to take a little while for them to get some chemistry?
I think it may take a couple of weeks to get him kind of back in game shape. Coach always calls it, back in game shape.
Yeah.
And get his legs underneath him and get kind of, on point with Jameis Winston. So, yeah, I think it might take him a couple of weeks, but I'd love to see him come back. It'd be a nice boost for that offense.
All right, now we'll get to my picks, which we're starting to head, obviously, in the that's great. Oh, that's great. And it's just going to keep getting bigger, man. All right, so my first pick, I'm going to go with, and I think this line tells you, this line makes no sense to me. I thought this line should be 5.5 or 6. Cowboys look that good. I'm going to start with the Patriots plus 3.5. I think the Cowboys are going to win the game. I do. But I think for some crazy reason, the Patriots are going to find a way to cover by 3. The line makes no sense to me. That's basically that's the reason for my pick. I don't think the Patriots are a better team. I think they are at home. I think Dallas is, everybody's in love with them. I think they're in, kind of that letdown kind of week. I see Patriots plus 3.5. I think Dallas will still win, but I like the Patriots plus 3.5 today. Then I'm going to Cleveland. There are some books showing 3 or 3.5. Buy if it's 3.5, buy it to 3. I bet it early in the week at 2 and a hook. I love the Browns today. I really do. Cardinals, obviously, no Cliff Kingsbury. He can't coach due to COVID. Chandler Jones was on the COVID list. Still isn't off it, so doesn't look like he's going to play. Now, obviously, Nick Chubb out for the Browns, but still, you wonder without Cliff Kingsbury and him calling the plays, the effect that's going to have. I think today the Cardinals find their first loss. I like the Browns minus 2.5. Then I'm going to go, hey, man, I think this team, they might not have won a game, but, you haven't seen many teams that play as hard as the Lions. They really do. They just have had some bad luck the last 2 weeks. Stizz mushed them last week. He completely mushed them. He said, oh, look, the Lions and his buddy had the Vikings Survivor. So he started texting them. I said, dude, don't send the text. There's still 37 seconds left. You never do that. He did it. And then we're looking over and Stizz is pointing, and there's the Vikings celebrating their win. And we're like, you got to be kidding me.
Listen, Coach, the dude's talking shit on me on how bad my fantasy team is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I told him how bad he wasn't picking Survivor picks. I mean,
Stizz, you know better. You know better, Stizz.
I know.
But yeah, I like the Lions plus 3.5 today. I think there's a chance you see them get their first win. I do like Cincinnati and how Burrow looks, but this Lions team, it's been mistakes. They've actually moved the ball on offense. They got to stop the mistakes with Goff. They got to convert in the red zone. These are the troubles they're having. I like the Lions today. I think the Lions win outright. My next game I'm going to go to is the Chargers plus 3 against the Ravens. Look, I think the Ravens are a little bit of a fugazi. And I know everybody's on Lamar Jackson and all, but let's not forget, they're a CEH fumble, okay? a 66-yard field goal, okay, and a 19-point comeback from being 1-4. And I know you say, oh, well, they made what, but there's been a lot of things that fall their way. And I just think there's some holes with the Ravens. Yeah, but the Ravens, they're going to win, but I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender. And until Lamar, and I like Lamar, I think he's gotten better. But until he shows me that he can do it in the playoffs, I'm going to be a doubter. Unless they go get him that DeAndre Hopkins type player. He hasn't had that. If they go get him a number one receiver, we'll talk. Then maybe I think we could talk about Super Bowl. But until he has that, I don't think the Ravens go win the Super Bowl. But I like to – or make the Super Bowl. I like the Chargers +3. And then I'm going to give you my usual teaser. I'm going to go Packers at pick, Chiefs -0.5, 2-team teaser. Take it to the bank. You know me, I love my teasers, and my teasers have done pretty damn good this year. I gave her my teaser a lock of the year 2 weeks ago, and that hit. Thank God. It wasn't. I had to sweat it a little bit, but it did win. My lock of the week will be the Browns game. Okay, Stizz, your prop bet, and then we'll get your lock, and then we'll get Coach's lock. So let's start with your prop bet. Go ahead, Stizz.
So prop bet is Darrell Williams. I mentioned him earlier. He's over 15.5 receiving yards. He hit that over the last 2 games, the last 2 weeks, and that was with CEH in the lineup. Washington's given up 9.5 yards per catch to running backs. He only needs 2 of them to get this average. So, like I said, without CEH in there, they're going to throw the ball. They're going to create screen passes for the running back. I think he hits this over pretty easy. It's crazy. You might say to yourself, wait a minute, Stizz, you had kickers the last 2 weeks that you were hot on, that you were building on. Why would you get away from the kickers? You know what? I'm gonna mess around a little bit here, and I'm gonna really try to get 3 in a row here without a kicker this week and see what happens. If I lose this week, then I go back to the kickers.
Well, and you know what, too, Stizz, with somebody like that, too, one good play you can go over. My brother, did it the other night with Leonard Fournette. He had him over on receiving yards, and he went over in the second quarter. So, so on these low ones, if you have a spot you like, you know what I mean? It makes sense sometimes. Miles Sanders, for instance, I hit him down AC last week, and,
on the under?
No, over. I went over.
Half a yard.
Me and Stizz were joking about him being under at halftime on Thursday night, and he ended up going over because in that fourth quarter. He was only 34.5 because they don't give him the ball, and the Bucs have the best run defense in football. So, but he ended up going over. And so, Stizz, there's your prop bet. Stizz is going with his lock of the year. So Stizz is putting out his lock of the year. Oh, he's getting his chain out and all for it. Get it on the right way, Stizz.
Let's
your lock of the
year. The boys and girls over there.
All right, Stizz, what's your lock of the year?
Lock of the year, and listen, I'm riding your coattails, Nevada. I saw this line in the beginning of the week, and this thing just jumped out at me. I'm going with the Cleveland Brownies -2.5.
Okay.
This is before I heard that Chubb was out, but I'm still sticking with them. Right. Listen, anytime a 5-0 team are underdogs, I'm running the other way.
Right.
Because that screams the favorite, at least to me anyway. Right. I just think with Kyler Murray's shoulder, with them not having a head coach in there because of COVID, with Cleveland, losing that game last week, which was the game of the week, in my opinion, they're at home. I think they're going to run all over Arizona and put them at 5-1.
And it's West Coast, East Coast too, Stizz. I think that's a
great point. That's a great point. That always comes into play.
Yeah.
So Cleveland Browns -2.5. That's my lock of the year. I'm looking to get some more points and get myself way ahead of Coach in this little game of ours.
I haven't, like I said, I had the teaser. I called it my teaser lock of the year. I didn't think it was fair because a teaser bet it should be one game. So I didn't. So I'm still waiting for my lock of the year. I just haven't had that game yet. So I'm waiting to see when I feel that. Coach, I don't know. Who knows when Coach might forget to have his lock of the year. That's my lock of the year.
Yeah, that's it,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, Coach, your lock of the week.
Oh, my lock of the week is
It's on the screen if you forget.
is it on the screen here? No.
We put it in closed captioning.
Thank you. Oh no, yeah, I'm going with the Packers this week.
Yeah.
I just think it's 5.5. They should easily win by a touchdown. So, I like the Browns game just like everybody else, but I had to be different.
Okay.
I wanted to be different.
Thank God.
I'm trying to get the streak to 2, baby. Streak to 2.
Yeah.
We're
Coach trying to
rooting
climb
for
the
you.
standings because Nevada Nick's on top right now.
We're rooting for you, buddy. Can
Yeah.
Nevada? Can I tell a quick story to get off the
Yeah, go ahead,
NFL
bro.
subject?
Yeah.
And just on the Harry's last point, we have a good time here and we talk all football, but I like to talk cornhole and our happy hours and stuff like that. Harry's point, and just to let Coach know, because Coach doesn't know what that.
Yeah, I never get an invite, so I don't know. I wouldn't know.
I know. We'd love to have you. Trust
Yeah,
me.
whatever you want, Coach. Come on.
So-
They all know. They
so-
all talk about it. Yeah, they would be. Yeah, you can come whenever you want, Coach.
Harry Trader was my partner this week in cornhole, and we started off 2-0. We sat, we waited for the tournament to get done. The team had to play us. 2 games, beat us 2 games. They handily beat us the first game. We were a little bit undermanned that game, but the second game we were down 20-10, and Mr. Clutch Stizzalicious comes back with a 5-run inning. Okay, puts them to 20-15. On the next throw, the opposite team's throwing. My man Joe on the other team, and we always take a picture that you'll see, on Facebook every week. We always take a picture of the winners every week, and I write up a little story if it's me. If not, I bash whoever it is. Well, my man Joe on the opposite team says to us down 20-15, "How's my hair look? Does my hair look all right for the picture?" Now, Nick told me, you never mush yourself. You never say anything until the game's over, Coach.
Nope.
Well, my man Joe said it, and
Yep.
I fed on it. And I said, "Joe, your hair looks great. Get the cameras out. Get the paparazzi. Let's get this picture taken." That's all I needed. Guess what? Stizz had another 5-run inning to make it 20-20. Harry closed it out with 2 runs, brought us to the championship. We got the medallions. We got the trophy back. That's
And-
4 times for
and
me
look-
with 4 different partners.
He's looking to tie the record next week 5 times.
I'm looking to tie the record from that creep Drew Bash with the same guy every week. I'm looking to do it with 5 different partners. So let's go. Let's bring it.
All right. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, everyone. We appreciate you checking us out. Please share it with your friends. Like the page. Go over to YouTube. Subscribe. Ring the bell. All that funky stuff. We appreciate all the help you give us. Enjoy the football games. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Do a little recap before Monday's game. Everyone be safe. Enjoy. We'll see you guys tomorrow.